Our next award honors a graduate and faculty member of York University who has gone above and beyond the call of duty to the school. I invite you to learn more about Marc Wilchesky.
What's kept me here is that there's been a change every few years, unanticipated and actually not even sought for, really. But it's always been a new challenge. It's always been very interesting. It's always been the kind of work I really want to do. I had an advisor. He suggested I work at this camp in Ontario called Camp Towie, which was a camp for kids with learning disabilities, 8 to 12 years old at the time. And I went to that camp, and that's what sort of got me started. I couldn't believe these kids who had learning disabilities, who had been called all kinds of things, who had some tremendous skills and abilities and talents if you knew how to get to them. So I guess the spark originally started with that group. Students have a lot more challenges, I think, that they're facing. If you don't provide the appropriate kinds of accommodations so that you level the playing field, so the students aren't penalized as a result of their disability and they're allowed to demonstrate what they can do, you've got this untapped resource that now can really contribute to society, succeed at university, and do some wonderful things. If you don't have those services, and years ago there weren't those services at any of the universities, very few services, those students weren't getting here.
Marc Wilchesky is a champion for students. As one of Canada's foremost experts on supporting students who have learning, mental health, and physical disabilities, he has played a pivotal role in the success of literally thousands of York students. Beginning in 1985, as the coordinator of Canada's first post-secondary learning disability program, Marc is currently the Executive Director of Counselling and Disability Services, as well as a faculty member in the Psychology Department. His commitment, skills, and creativity in both student services and the classroom continue to help make York a university of opportunity, where all students can learn and achieve their goals.
Whatever success I've achieved is based on the people around me. We're very fortunate to have a fabulous group of staff in Counselling and Disability Services. I like to believe that I try and encourage people to be as successful as they can be, and I think working together as a team makes everybody more successful. And I was very fortunate to have a graduate supervisor by the name of Harold Minden, who actually was the person who hired me later to run that program for students with learning disabilities. He was fabulous. I mean, this guy was a real doer. He became the head of the counseling center at that time, hired me, and that really propelled me along this path. Students send an email or they call and they just say, I don't know if you realize how much your service helped. It's a great moment. The thing that I feel best about is that a number of years ago, I put forward a proposal for a transition program to prepare students with learning disabilities for university. It was the only one of its kind, maybe in North America, but certainly in Canada. That's helped a lot of students get better prepared to succeed at university. And what I feel best about is that now it's virtually every college and university in Ontario has some kind of transition programming like that. What we're trying to do is make sure that it's not just for students with learning disabilities, but for all students with disabilities. So this award, I mean, it's kind of humbling to say the least, because I really think it's a reflection of all the work that all the people in Counselling and Disability Services have done for all these years. And I happen to be heading it at the moment, but it wouldn't be anything without all those folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present to you the recipient of the 2012 Bryden Alumni Award for Local Hero, Marc Wilchesky.
Keep going. Okay. Well, it looks like this is True Confessions Night, starting with Chris. So some of you may know I graduated with a PhD in 1980 from York University in psychology. But in intro psych at McGill University, I got a C. Oh well. There's nothing more to that except that just keep going. Even if you get C's, it can lead to good things. So like the other two recipients before me, I'm truly honored to be among such great fellow Bryden Award winners, past and present, and to have my name associated with Bruce Bryden, who's an individual I've learned has contributed so much in so many ways to York University. And I also want to thank my colleagues, most of them are here, who nominated me, and the York University Alumni Association, in particular the Bryden Awards Committee, for selecting me as the recipient of this year's Local Hero Award. So I have another couple of confessions. I'm not Catholic, actually, but I do have some confessions to make. First of all, as any of you know, I'm sure there are plenty of days when you're on the job and we don't particularly feel like we are heroes. In fact, sometimes we feel quite the opposite. And it's really important on those occasions to have the support of someone to help you get through those situations and keep moving forward. So I'm going to embarrass my wife and just let her know that in my case, she's that person. To my colleagues here, I never breached any confidentiality, okay? I never used names, but she heard plenty of rants with unnamed people in the rants, and she, in those moments, kept me going and saying, you know, you'll be okay. She told me what I needed to hear, like, you're terrific, you're right, you're right, you're right. The second confession I need to make is, although I'm really proud to get this Local Hero Award, I've been struggling with that term, local hero, ever since I was told I got this award. And I've struggled with it mostly because none of the sort of common definitions, the two most common definitions, really fit me. The first one being a remarkably brave person who has shown great courage. Not so much. I don't think so. And the second one being a person with superhuman powers. So there's two big problems with that second one. The first problem is being called a superhero poses an immediate challenge with your staff, who then expect you to do superhero type things, which you can't do. So managing expectations is a big problem when you're called a superhero. And the second one, and trust me on this, the image of me in spandex tights and a cape is not a pretty picture. Trust me. Actually, when I think about it, the people who more closely fit the definition of hero are the many students over the years who've been clients of our Counselling and Disability Services. These students have persevered with their studies in the face of enormous challenges. They have had the courage to face obstacles to higher education head-on, and they've been able to overcome them through determination, creativity, and hard work in order to meet their academic goals. Many of those students have had to struggle with extraordinarily difficult life circumstances, and in many cases, they are students who've had to deal with the impact of various types of physical, mental health, and learning disabilities. As many of you know, York's institutional mission statement includes the Latin phrase tentanda via, the way must be tried. In fact, you heard some of this on the video, the reason I was initially hired was because my mentor, the late Professor Harold Minden, believed that a way had to be tried to support students with disabilities at York. And as a result, he secured a grant that allowed him to hire me to lead a program that would address the unique learning challenges of those students. York is a post-secondary institution with a history of trying new ways to improve access to post-secondary education for students from non-traditional backgrounds and to develop strategies to help those students be successful. I'm particularly proud of York's long-standing commitment to social justice and access to higher education. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I started back in 1985. I can't believe I'm saying that. And when I began working there, it was a 3-year pilot project to support students with learning disabilities. I never imagined that I would continue to work at York for the next 27 years. I think the moral of that story is if you stay long enough, you'll get an award. You have to stay long enough. Over the course of all those 27 years, I've been so fortunate to have been able to work with a team of highly dedicated and talented professionals in our Counselling and Disability Services who have worked tirelessly with thousands of students with and without disabilities to help them achieve their goals. It's also been a privilege for me to collaborate with so many of our campus partners, many of them here tonight, who are outside of Counseling and Disability Services, all of whom care so deeply about the well-being of York students. These individuals are too numerous to name from so many different departments on campus, but all of them dedicated to helping students achieve academic and personal success, all of them truly worthy of the term local heroes. I believe that this year's Bryden Local Hero Award is an acknowledgement of the tremendous collective efforts of staff and students at York University who have worked together to overcome significant challenges and to achieve student success, and I gratefully accept this award on their behalf. Thank you.